Nature's fury is unstoppable, and sometimes it strikes without warning. These are some of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history. Number 1, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. On December 26, 2004, a massive undersea earthquake, with a magnitude of 9.1, struck off the coast of Sumatra. Within minutes, gigantic waves up to 30 meters high raced towards the shores, smashing into coastal towns and villages. The force of the water swept away buildings, cars, and thousands of lives in an instant. Countries like Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and India were among the worst hit. Entire communities were wiped out, and the scenes of destruction shocked the entire world. More than 230,000 people lost their lives in this tragedy, making it one of the deadliest tsunamis ever recorded. The event also sparked a global humanitarian response, with aid pouring in from all over the world to help survivors rebuild their lives. On January 12, 2010, the Caribbean nation of Haiti was struck by a catastrophic earthquake with a magnitude of 7.0. The epicenter was near the capital city, Port-au-Prince, home to over 2 million people. Within seconds, buildings crumbled to the ground, trapping thousands beneath the rubble. Hospitals, schools, and government offices collapsed, leaving the country in chaos. The disaster killed more than 220,000 people, injured hundreds of thousands, and left over 1 million homeless. Rescue teams from around the world rushed to Haiti, but damaged roads and limited resources made relief efforts extremely difficult. The quake not only caused physical destruction, but also left deep scars on the nation's economy and social fabric. Even years later, Haiti continued to struggle with rebuilding and recovery, making this tragedy one of the most heartbreaking in modern history. On May 12, 2008, China's Sichuan province was shaken by a powerful 7.9 magnitude earthquake. The tremor struck in the early afternoon, catching millions of people off guard. Entire villages were flattened, and massive landslides buried roads, cutting off rescue teams from reaching the hardest-hit areas. Schools collapsed with children still inside, leading to heartbreaking scenes that shocked the nation. The earthquake killed nearly 90,000 people and left more than 5 million homeless. It also injured hundreds of thousands, with many suffering long-term disabilities. In the days following the disaster, the Chinese government deployed tens of thousands of soldiers and emergency workers, but the scale of destruction made rescue efforts incredibly challenging. The tragedy brought nationwide mourning and became a symbol of both the fragility and resilience of human life in the face of nature's power. On November 12, 1970, the polar cyclone struck what was then East Pakistan, now known as Bangladesh, and parts of West Bengal in India. This cyclone remains the deadliest tropical storm ever recorded in human history. With winds exceeding 185 kilometers per hour, accompanied by a massive storm surge, it swallowed entire coastal villages. The surge flooded low-lying islands, destroying homes, crops, and livestock. In just a few hours, between 300,000 and 500,000 people lost their lives, many of them swept away by the rising waters. Rescue efforts were severely hampered by the lack of infrastructure, communication breakdowns, and the sheer scale of devastation. The tragedy sparked political unrest in the region and played a role in the events that eventually led to the independence of Bangladesh. Today, the polar cyclone serves as a grim reminder of the catastrophic impact tropical storms can have on vulnerable coastal communities. On March 11, 2011, Japan was struck by one of the most powerful earthquakes in its history, a magnitude 9.0 undersea quake off the coast of Tohoku. The massive tremor triggered a towering tsunami, with waves reaching as high as 40 meters in some areas. Coastal towns were swallowed within minutes, sweeping away buildings, cars, and ships as if they were toys. The disaster killed over 15,000 people, with thousands more injured or missing. To make matters worse, the tsunami caused the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant to suffer a catastrophic meltdown, releasing dangerous radiation into the environment. This triple disaster, earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear crisis, left deep scars on Japan's economy and the lives of millions. Yet the resilience of the Japanese people shone through, as communities began the long and difficult process of recovery and rebuilding. On November 8, 2013, the Philippines was hit by Typhoon Haiyan, locally known as Yolanda, and one of the strongest tropical cyclones ever recorded. With sustained winds of over 315 kilometers per hour and waves as high as 15 meters, Haiyan obliterated everything in its path. The city of Tacloban and surrounding coastal areas were flattened within hours. More than 6,000 people were killed, and millions were left homeless. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to piles of wood and twisted metal. The typhoon also triggered severe flooding, landslides, and a humanitarian crisis that stretched the country's resources to the limit. International aid poured in, but the devastation was so widespread that recovery took years. Typhoon Haiyan became a stark reminder of the immense, destructive power of tropical cyclones, especially for vulnerable island nations. On October 8, 2005, a devastating earthquake with a magnitude of 7.6 struck the Kashmir region, affecting both Pakistan-administered Kashmir and parts of India. The quake's epicenter was near Muzaffarabad, and the destruction was catastrophic. Entire villages in the mountains were reduced to rubble, and landslides blocked roads, cutting off aid to the worst-hit areas. Schools collapsed while classes were in session, claiming the lives of thousands of children. In total, more than 80,000 people were killed, tens of thousands were injured, and millions were left homeless. The mountainous terrain made rescue and relief efforts extremely challenging, forcing aid workers to use helicopters and donkeys to deliver supplies. The disaster left a deep scar on the region, and even years later, many survivors still struggled to rebuild their homes and livelihoods. The Kashmir earthquake stands as one of the most tragic natural disasters of the 21st century.